John Wick Chapter 4 is now out in theaters, and this is arguably one of the best action franchises there is. So let's rank all four films. I can't say from worst to best because they're all really good. So let's just rank them. Hey everybody, my name is Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. Leave your list down below. How would you rank all four of the John Wick films? Like I said, these films are great. Each film feels different than the previous one, and each one are some of the best action films I have ever seen. So I can't say from worst to best. Coming in last place, but still really good, is John Wick Chapter 2. This film built off of the first film perfectly. In that first film, we did see some glimpses of this world that was set up in John Wick, but that first film felt very personal to him, and that second film is just expanding on this universe and going deeper into the high table and the world set in John Wick. The action still absolutely crazy. Everything you're seeing, you just can't believe it's actually happening. The stunts and action are bigger. The story is built off of that first film, where that first film felt very small when you look at all four John Wick films. This second film just felt bigger, and at times it does feel a little bit repetitive with its story and what it's trying to offer and expanding on it, but still a really gripping film with some new cast members in here that really do work. It's very vibrant. The action is still filmed beautifully. Everything about John Wick is top notch. Even though I don't find the story to be as engaging as other entries, it's still a really solid action film. Coming in third place is John Wick Chapter 3. They took the second film and just expanded on that film, and we got John Wick Chapter 3. So we have dogs now that are doing some of the action choreographed scenes. We have Halle Berry in here that fit nicely along the cast in here, and it once again expands on the world of John Wick. And it's essentially a very, very simple story. Just people after John Wick, and he is constantly on the run trying to protect himself, and he's very good at it. And at times they're taking certain elements from the world that is set up in this film and trying to do different clever things, and at times it comes off a little bit odd with what they are introducing in the film, but still they managed to take the second film and up the action. They managed to give us some absolutely insane scenes in here, and it really does work. Everything in here is thrilling. You're reacting out loud. You're so invested in this film. And although John Wick Chapter 3 has a bit of a weaker story centered around the world, it's still a very interesting film. And Keanu Reeves is so believable with all of his choreographed action scenes. The direction from it as well, top notch, very vibrant. I like the look of this film, where the first two ones kind of were a little bit darker in tone. This one seemed to be utilizing more bright lights in here to make this film really pop, but utilizing different cast members and different settings and bringing in new elements to this franchise. John Wick Chapter 3 impressed me. Coming in second place is John Wick. John Wick, the first film, had a very personal story for him, and there's a lot of emotion surrounding this character. When you look at all four films, this is the smallest one. It's still epic and big, but compared to the other ones, it doesn't do as much as the next films did. But you can tell that the motivation for John Wick to kill everybody that he comes across is very personal to him. We learn that he lost his wife, and this dog that he gets is a gift from her. So right there, it means something to him. And when his dog gets killed, it just sets him on a course, killing spree. And I agree with him. Kill his dog, go off, John Wick. But the story is very personal. And you feel that fear of everybody has for John Wick, and the way that they discuss him, it really sets up this character nicely. And then you still feel that throughout the film. Anytime anybody talks about John Wick, it's always the same way it was in the first film. Fear him, he can kill anybody with anything. It's absolutely crazy. But that first film set up this world so nicely, gave us small glimpses of the world that John Wick lives in and his previous life as well. But I enjoyed this film for the action and those more personal, emotional moments for this character. Very strong in the beginning of the film. And then once he's on that killing spree, it just goes off and is crazy. But coming in first place is John Wick Chapter 4. This was a long film, but it felt appropriate because of the setup for the beginning of this film. We didn't get like the first action scene to like the 30-minute mark, but everything leading up to that felt very personal for John Wick, and that motivation of trying to free himself from the high table. And once we get into our first big action scene, they do not cut corners with that. They make everything look truly amazing. They go all in. People are constantly coming, and you're wondering, are they going to stop? But why would they stop? Because everybody is after John Wick. And so it would make sense to have these really lengthy action scenes and just deliver on the crazy moments. And then some of the new cast members in here, like Donnie Yen and Shamir Anderson and Bill Skarsgård, all of them have solid storylines in here, and everything is leading up to this fourth film. It has a really emotional ending to it, and everything that John Wick has done is leading to this moment. He wants his freedom, and he will stop at nothing. But the action scenes are some of the best I have seen in the films, and it's crazy that the fourth film, the fourth time around, it doesn't feel repetitive. Everything feels fresh and new, despite having action scenes like this before, probably in other movies. And so the way that they are able to bring in new camera angles, overhead shots of John Wick, utilizing swords and knives and guns, everything, many different weapons. You feel the urgency within this film. It is crazy. John Wick Chapter 4, despite being a very long film, the story was very simple and very tight. We understand the purpose of John Wick and what he's trying to do, get his freedom. The villains in here worked. The new cast members are solid as well. John Wick Chapter 4 was absolutely crazy. I could see this being in my top 10 at the end of the year. Very early though, but I could see it being one of my favorite films at the end, because right now it's my favorite film of 2023 and the best John Wick film of the franchise. So there you guys have it. All 4 John Wick films ranked worst to best. It's not the worst one. They're all really good. Make sure to leave your list down below. How would you rank all 4 of the films? And stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Justin Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.